Luke drove home slowly, feeling tired after a long day at work. His little daughter Mia sat in the back seat, swinging her legs and humming softly. The sun was setting, and the sky had a soft orange glow. As he rounded a bend, he noticed a woman standing next to a car on the side of the road. The car was stopped awkwardly. One wheel turned at an angle. She looked worried and uncertain. Luke hesitated for a moment, thinking he was late and still had dinner to prepare for Mia. But something made him pull over. He parked his car a few feet away and got out. He walked over to her, calling out politely. The woman turned, relief spreading across her face when she saw him. She smiled but looked nervous. Luke introduced himself and asked if she needed help. She hesitated for a second, then nodded. Her name was Claire. She explained that she had no idea how to change a tire and had been trying for nearly an hour with no luck. Luke offered a reassuring smile and said he could do it quickly. Mia leaned over the door to watch, her eyes wide with curiosity. Luke got the tools from his trunk and set to work. He spoke softly to Claire as he worked, making small talk. She told him she had been driving to a friend's house when she heard a pop and felt the car shake. Luke asked about her work and hobbies, and she laughed lightly, saying she liked to read and travel but did not always have time. Mia wandered around, picking up small rocks and showing them to Claire. Claire laughed genuinely and crouched down to look at the rocks, asking Mia about them. Luke felt a warmth he had not expected. Claire seemed real and kind, not at all like someone from a world far away from his own struggles. He loosened the lug nuts and removed the flat tire, careful with each step. Claire watched quietly, occasionally asking questions about the process. Luke explained simply, making sure she could understand. He noticed how she listened closely, nodding, and showing interest in his words. The conversation felt easy, natural. Luke found himself enjoying it more than he expected. Mia clapped when he finished removing the tire, proud of her father. Replacing the tire was quicker than he thought. He tightened the nuts and checked the car to make sure it was safe. Claire looked impressed and thanked him sincerely. She reached for her purse, trying to give him money, but Luke shook his head, said it was nothing, and that he was happy to help. Claire smiled and accepted it, but he could see a hint of surprise in her eyes. She said it was rare to find someone willing to help without expecting anything in return. After a few minutes of chatting, Luke packed up the tools. Mia held his hand as they walked back to their car. Claire waved and thanked them again. Luke felt a strange mix of pride and curiosity. He did not know why, but he wanted to know more about this woman. As they drove away, Mia kept talking about Claire and her funny laugh. Luke smiled, feeling something he had not felt in a long time. A small spark of hope and excitement had started. He wondered if their paths would cross again. The evening sky grew darker as they drove home. Luke thought about how simple kindness could connect strangers. Claire had seemed so different at first, but in that moment, she was just a person, grateful for help and willing to smile. He realized he wanted to see her again, and maybe find out more about the life she led. Mia dozed off in the back seat, tired from the excitement. Luke glanced at her, feeling protective and happy. The small act of helping someone had brought a little light into their day, and he hoped it was only the beginning of something more. A few days later, Claire walked into the small coffee shop where Luke worked part-time. She smiled when she saw him behind the counter and called his name softly. Luke froze for a moment, surprised to see her again. He quickly recovered and greeted her warmly. She insisted on buying coffee for him and Mia, who was playing nearby. Luke felt a little nervous, unsure why she was here, but he did not want to show it. As Claire ordered, she asked about Luke's day and how Mia was doing. Luke told her briefly, trying to keep the conversation simple. Claire listened closely, nodding and smiling. She seemed genuinely interested, asking questions about the small things in their lives. Mia ran around the shop laughing, and Claire bent down to talk to her. She made Mia giggle with small jokes and funny faces, and Luke watched quietly, feeling a warmth he had not expected. After getting their drinks, they sat at a small table near the window. Luke felt awkward at first, not used to having long conversations with someone like Claire. She was polite, soft-spoken, but also confident. They started talking about their interests. Luke shared how he liked to fix small machines and cars, and how he loved spending time with Mia. Claire told him about her love for books and traveling. They found small things in common, like favorite movies and music. The conversation felt easy and natural, as if they had known each other longer than a few days. Luke noticed that Claire seemed different from what he imagined. She was not distant or arrogant. She laughed freely and made jokes, which made Luke smile. He liked how she treated Mia, not as a child to entertain, but as a person to respect and include. Mia quickly warmed up to Claire, holding her hand and showing her toys. Claire listened and asked questions, making Mia feel important and loved. Luke watched silently, feeling grateful that someone cared for them in such a simple way. As the afternoon passed, Luke realized that he enjoyed Claire's company more than he had expected. He found himself opening up, telling small stories about his struggles as a single father. Claire listened without judgment. She shared some of her own worries, admitting that even with money and success, she sometimes felt lonely. Luke felt a connection forming, something beyond ordinary friendship. Mia climbed onto Luke's lap and pointed at Claire, asking if she could stay longer. Claire smiled, nodding, and they continued talking. Luke realized how rare it was to meet someone who could connect with both him and Mia. The coffee shop became a small world where they could share stories, laughs, and simple moments. The warmth of the afternoon sun and the aroma of coffee created a calm, happy feeling that Luke had not experienced in a long time. When it was time to leave, Claire stood up and thanked them both for letting her spend time with them. She said she had enjoyed the conversation and the company, and she hoped they would meet again. Luke felt a small excitement, a hope that their paths would cross more often. As she walked away, he looked at Mia, who waved and smiled. Luke realized that a simple act of kindness, a shared moment, had turned into the beginning of something new and special. Driving home, Luke thought about the unexpected connection with Claire. He wondered if she felt the same spark he did. The world felt lighter somehow, as if the day had brought a small miracle. He glanced at Mia sleeping in the back seat, her small hand curled around her favorite toy, and he felt a deep sense of gratitude. Claire had brought laughter and warmth into their lives, and Luke could not stop thinking about seeing her again. One afternoon, Luke was at a small auto repair shop, trying to fix his old car. As he worked, he noticed a luxury car parked nearby. To his surprise, Claire was stepping out, carrying shopping bags with expensive labels. Luke paused, feeling a mix of curiosity and uncertainty. He did not want to appear nosy, but he could not ignore the signs that Claire lived a very different life than his own. He walked over casually and greeted her. Claire smiled, happy to see him. Luke asked where she had been, trying to sound casual. She hesitated for a moment, and then admitted that she ran a tech company. Luke stopped in his tracks, shocked. He had imagined her as someone ordinary, but she was clearly wealthy and successful. He struggled to hide his surprise and embarrassment. Claire noticed his reaction and laughed softly. She reassured him that her wealth did not matter to her. When it came to friendships and relationships, Luke felt a mix of relief and doubt. He wanted to believe her, but a small voice in his head reminded him of the differences in their lives. He did not want Claire to feel disappointed, if he could not provide the lifestyle she was used to. As they talked, Luke realized that Claire was sincere. She explained that she enjoyed simple moments like talking with him and spending time with Mia. She did not want someone rich or famous, just someone kind and genuine. Luke felt a warmth in his chest, understanding that connection and honesty were more important than money. He started to feel more comfortable letting go of some of the insecurity. Mia ran up to them, holding a small toy she had found. Claire crouched down and played with her, laughing easily. Luke watched quietly, feeling amazed at how natural the interaction was. Claire treated Mia as if she had always been a part of her life, and Mia responded with joy and trust. Luke felt a deep sense of gratitude and hope. They continued talking, sharing stories and small details about their lives. Luke mentioned his struggles as a single father, working hard to make ends meet. Claire listened without judgment, nodding and asking thoughtful questions. She told Luke about the pressures of running a business, and how success did not always bring happiness. Luke felt a strong connection forming, one that seemed deeper than any ordinary friendship. After a while, Claire glanced at her watch and realized she had to leave. Luke felt a pang of disappointment, wishing their time could last longer. Claire smiled and promised to see them again soon. She gave Mia a small gift, a book she thought the child would enjoy. Mia hugged Claire tightly, and Luke felt a rare sense of peace and happiness. As they walked to her car, Luke thought about how life had changed so unexpectedly. A simple act of helping someone with a tire had led to meetings, conversations, and moments that brought warmth into their lives. He wondered if this could grow into something more meaningful. Claire's honesty and kindness made him hopeful, even as he struggled with the thought of their very different worlds. Driving home with Mia, Luke kept thinking about Claire and the spark he felt when she smiled at him and laughed with his daughter. The day had started like any other, but ended with a feeling he could not ignore. He realized that love and connection could come from the simplest acts, and that a chance encounter could change life in ways he had never imagined. For the first time in a long while, he felt the possibility of something wonderful waiting for him and Mia. In the following days, Luke began to feel uneasy. Gossip had reached him that Claire was wealthy, and he worried that she might see him as someone who could not provide enough. He wanted to act normal, but he felt insecure about their growing friendship. He avoided calling her as often, afraid he might seem desperate or inadequate. Claire noticed Luke's sudden distance. She tried to reach out, sending a friendly message to see how he and Mia were doing, but Luke did not respond right away. She felt a small sting of disappointment, wondering if she had done something wrong. Claire had grown to enjoy their conversations and the simple moments they shared, and Luke's silence made her question what he truly thought about her. One afternoon, Claire went to the park where Luke often took Mia. She saw him playing catch with her, and a business colleague of hers appeared, greeting her loudly and laughing. He flirted openly, making Luke feel small and unsure. Luke watched from a distance, feeling a mix of jealousy and fear that Claire would be drawn to someone from her world. He turned away, not wanting to ruin the moment, but feeling the weight of insecurity pressing on him. Mia noticed Luke's quiet behavior and tugged at his sleeve. She asked why he seemed sad, and he tried to explain it simply without hurting her feelings. Claire, observing the situation, walked over and knelt down to talk to Mia. She asked the child about her day and listened closely. Mia spoke about her father and how he sometimes worried too much. Claire nodded, understanding the feelings of both father and child. She smiled gently, showing that she cared and wanted to help. Later, Claire decided to talk to Luke privately. She invited him to a quiet bench in the park. Luke felt tense, unsure of what to say. Claire spoke first, telling him that she valued him and Mia. Not because of money or status, but because they were kind, genuine, and honest. She reassured him that her world did not define what she wanted in relationships. Luke listened, feeling a relief he had not expected. He realized that Claire had reached out not for himself but to strengthen the bond between them. They spent the afternoon talking and laughing, with Mia playing nearby. Luke shared his worries, and Claire listened carefully. She told him about her fears and how success sometimes felt lonely. The conversation bridged the gap between their different worlds, creating trust and understanding. Luke felt his insecurities fade, replaced with hope and a growing sense of connection. He realized that Claire's intentions were genuine, and he could trust her feelings. Mia ran to them with a small flower she had picked from the grass. Claire accepted it with a smile and praised her for the gesture. Luke felt a surge of happiness watching the interaction. It was simple, ordinary moments like these that made life feel meaningful and full of warmth. He realized that love could grow in unexpected ways, even when circumstances seemed different. As the sun began to set, Luke and Claire stood up, holding hands briefly before saying goodbye. Luke felt a sense of peace, knowing that their bond had grown stronger despite the obstacles. He knew that challenges would come, but for the first time, he felt ready to face them with Claire by his side. Driving home, he looked at Mia sleeping in the back seat, feeling grateful for the connection that had begun and excited for what the future might hold. After the misunderstandings and worries, Luke and Claire finally spent an entire afternoon together. They sat in the backyard, watching Mia run around with her small toys. The sun was warm, and the air felt calm. Luke felt nervous at first, unsure how to start talking about their feelings. Claire reached out and held his hand, giving him a reassuring smile. He felt a rush of warmth, and finally found the courage to speak. He told Claire how he had worried about their differences, about not being able to give her the life she was used to. He admitted his fear that she might see him as someone not enough. Claire listened carefully, holding his hand tighter. She told him that she did not care about money or status. She valued kindness, honesty, and love. She wanted to be with him, not for what he had, but for who he was. Luke felt a deep sense of relief. The weight he had been carrying lifted slightly. He realized that Claire's words were sincere and that she truly cared for him and Mia. He looked at her and smiled, feeling hope he had not felt in a long time. Claire smiled back, her eyes soft and warm. The air between them felt light, full of understanding and promise. Mia ran over to them, holding a small stick she pretended was a sword. Luke and Claire laughed together as they watched her play. Claire joined in, pretending to duel with Mia, making the child giggle uncontrollably. Luke felt happiness swell inside him. These simple moments, full of laughter and connection, made him realize that love was not about wealth or status. It was about presence, trust, and shared joy. As the afternoon turned to evening, Luke and Claire talked about their hopes and dreams. Luke shared how he wanted a safe and happy life for Mia. Claire talked about her desire for real connection, someone who understood her beyond the success and money. They found that their dreams aligned more than they had expected. Both wanted love, trust, and family. The conversation felt easy, natural, and honest. After a while, Claire brought out a small picnic she had prepared. They ate together, sharing food and stories, feeling comfortable and close. Luke noticed how naturally their lives were merging, despite the differences in their worlds. He realized that Claire was not just a visitor in their lives. She was becoming part of their family, someone who would be there through struggles and joy. As the night approached, Luke held Claire's hand and looked into her eyes. He told her he wanted to be with her, to face life together, and to make memories with her and Mia. Claire nodded, smiling, and agreed. They hugged, feeling a connection that was stronger than any fear or doubt. Mia joined them, wrapping her small arms around both of them, and they laughed together. Driving home later, Luke felt a sense of completeness he had not known for years. Claire sat beside him, chatting and laughing, making him feel light and happy. He glanced at Mia in the back seat, holding her toy and smiling in her sleep. He knew that their lives had changed in ways they could not have imagined. A simple act of kindness had led to trust, friendship, and love. As Luke parked in front of their home, he realized that life had given him a new beginning. Claire had shown him that love could cross boundaries of wealth, worry, and fear. He felt ready for the future, confident that with Claire by his side, he and Mia could face anything. The night was calm, full of hope, and Luke knew that their story was just beginning, with love, trust, and happiness leading the way.